Fear is a universal human experience, deeply embedded in our psyche. It manifests in various forms, from anxiety about the future to concerns about our self-worth. Yet, despite its pervasiveness, fear is often an illusion created by the mind. In this video, we will explore how to achieve freedom from fear by staying present and detaching from the mind's narratives. Drawing inspiration from spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle, we will delve into practical strategies for overcoming fear and embracing a life of peace and tranquility. In our contemporary world, fear is more commonly a psychological phenomenon arising from our thoughts and perceptions. It manifests in worries about the future, such as fear of failure, fear of loss, or fear of the unknown. These anxieties are not about tangible dangers, but about potential scenarios crafted by the mind. This mental activity draws from past experiences and cultural conditioning, creating a feedback loop that reinforces our fears. Eckhart Tolle, a renowned spiritual teacher, emphasizes that fear cannot exist in the present moment. It is always connected to the past or the future. When we think about the past, we might fear repeating painful experiences or facing unresolved traumas. When we look to the future, we often fear uncertainties or potential negative outcomes. The mind, with its constant chatter, keeps us trapped in these time-bound narratives, disconnecting us from the peace of the present. This understanding of fear highlights the importance of distinguishing between real, immediate dangers and imagined, projected fears. Real dangers require appropriate responses, but imagined fears often lead to unnecessary suffering. By recognizing this distinction, we can begin to untangle ourselves from the web of fear that our minds spin. The power of presence. The concept of presence is central to overcoming fear. Presence refers to the state of being fully aware and engaged in the current moment, free from the distractions of past memories or future anticipations. It is a state of mindfulness where one's attention is rooted in the now. Eckhart Tolle advocates for presence as the key to transcending the limitations of the mind. In The Power of Now, he describes how true peace and freedom from fear can only be found in the present moment. This is because the mind's capacity to generate fear is predicated on its ability to project into the future or dwell on the past. When we are fully present, these projections lose their power over us. To cultivate presence, one effective method is mindfulness meditation. This practice involves focusing on a specific object, such as the breath, and gently returning attention to it whenever the mind wanders. This simple yet profound exercise trains the mind to stay anchored in the present, reducing the tendency to get lost in fearful thoughts. Another powerful aspect of presence is its ability to reveal the impermanence of thoughts and emotions. When we observe our thoughts without attachment, we notice that they are fleeting. They arise, persist for a while, and then dissipate. This realization helps us understand that fear, like all emotions, is temporary. It comes and goes, and we do not have to let it define our reality. Moreover, presence can be cultivated through daily activities by practicing full engagement in whatever we are doing. Whether it's walking, eating, or conversing, bringing full awareness to the task at hand can transform mundane moments into profound experiences. This practice not only diminishes fear, but also enhances our appreciation of life as we become more attuned to the beauty and richness of the present moment. Detaching from the mind's narratives. Detachment from the mind's narratives is an essential step in overcoming fear. The mind is a prolific storyteller, constantly weaving tales about who we are, what the world is like, and what the future holds. These stories often include fears and anxieties that are not based on current reality, but on interpretations and assumptions. Eckhart Tolle introduces the concept of the watcher or observer to describe the part of us that can observe these mental processes without being caught up in them. This observer is our true self, a deeper consciousness that transcends the mind. By identifying with the observer, rather than the content of our thoughts, we gain a new perspective on our fears. One practical technique for detaching from the mind's narratives is to practice mindful observation. This involves noticing thoughts as they arise without reacting to them. Instead of getting pulled into a narrative, we simply acknowledge the thought and let it pass. This practice helps us see that thoughts are not facts. They are just mental events that come and go. Another technique is to engage in inquiry, a process of questioning the validity of our thoughts. For example, when a fearful thought appears, we can ask ourselves, is this thought absolutely true? What evidence do I have for this? Often, this inquiry reveals that our fears are based on incomplete information or distorted perceptions. By questioning our thoughts, we can dismantle the false narratives that fuel our fears. Detachment also involves understanding that the mind's narratives are often rooted in the ego, the sense of a separate self that feels vulnerable and threatened. The ego thrives on fear as it reinforces its identity through a sense of separation and lack. By recognizing the ego's influence, we can begin to see through its illusions and connect with our deeper self, which is inherently free from fear. Embracing the present moment. Embracing the present moment is not just about being mindful. It also involves a deep acceptance of whatever is happening in our lives. Acceptance means acknowledging reality as it is, without resistance or judgment. This can be challenging, especially when we face difficulties or unpleasant situations, but it is a crucial aspect of transcending fear. Eckhart Tolle emphasizes that acceptance is not passive resignation, but an active alignment with the flow of life. When we resist what is, we create inner conflict and suffering. This resistance often stems from a desire for things to be different, which is a form of non-acceptance. For example, we might resist a painful emotion, a challenging situation, or a person who frustrates us. This resistance intensifies our discomfort and fuels our fears. To embrace the present moment, we must practice allowing things to be as they are. This does not mean we cannot take action to improve our situation, but we do so from a place of peace rather than from fear or resistance. For instance, if we are experiencing anxiety about an uncertain future, instead of trying to control or predict outcomes, we can focus on what we can do in the present. This approach not only reduces fear, but also empowers us to act more effectively. Acceptance also involves being compassionate with ourselves. It means accepting our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without harsh self-criticism. When we accept ourselves, we create a space for healing and growth. This self-compassion allows us to face our fears with courage and understanding, rather than with self-judgment. Moreover, embracing the present moment requires us to release our attachment to specific outcomes. Fear often arises from a desire for control and certainty. By letting go of this need and trusting the natural flow of life, we open ourselves to new possibilities. This openness allows us to experience life more fully and to respond to situations with greater clarity and calmness. The role of faith and trust. Faith and trust are powerful allies in our journey to overcome fear. They provide a sense of security and assurance that transcends the uncertainties of life. Faith is not necessarily religious. It can be a deep, inner knowing that there is a greater intelligence or order in the universe. This belief can offer comfort and support, especially during challenging times. Eckhart Tolle often speaks about trusting the present moment and the unfolding of life. This trust is based on the understanding that life is inherently intelligent and that everything happens for a reason. When we trust life, we are less likely to be overwhelmed by fear because we believe that whatever happens, it will ultimately contribute to our growth and well-being. Trust also extends to ourselves. It involves confidence in our ability to handle whatever life throws our way. This self-trust is built through experiences where we have faced challenges and emerged stronger. By reflecting on past experiences where we have successfully navigated difficulties, we reinforce our belief in our resilience and capacity for growth. Another aspect of trust is the willingness to embrace the unknown. Fear often arises from uncertainty and the unpredictability of the future. However, by cultivating trust, we can view the unknown not as a threat, but as a realm of endless possibilities. This shift in perspective allows us to approach life with curiosity and openness, rather than with anxiety and fear. In practical terms, building faith and trust can involve practices such as prayer, meditation, or affirmations. These practices help us connect with our inner wisdom and the larger reality of which we are a part. They remind us that we are not alone and that there is a greater force supporting us on our journey. By integrating faith and trust into our daily lives, we create a foundation of inner peace and stability. This foundation helps us navigate life's challenges with greater ease and confidence, allowing us to live more fully and freely, unburdened by the fears that once held us back.